Roll, aka Avery Johnson, the coach, checking in here at HQ. And let's start with looking at some of those teams with the trade deadline close here in the NBA. Want to take a look at some of those guys that may need to make a move. Started with the Suns. I mean, they look pretty good. Top of the association. Do they need to make a deal here, though, Coach?
The Suns do not need to make a move. They've already made their moves. Give James Jones, their GM, and Monty Williams, their coach, credit. They acquired JaVale McGee in the offseason. We know when they played against the Milwaukee Bucks in the finals last year, going up against Giannis, DeAndre Ayton had a lot of problems, but JaVale McGee has come in and really stabilized the backup center spot. And you look at a situation like last night, DeAndre Ayton is not in uniform, JaVale McGee starts, and then Bismack Biyombo comes off the bench. Another guy that's 6'10", 260 pounds. So the combination of JaVale and Bismack really has secured the Suns in terms of stabilizing their front court. They have the best record in the NBA, and I'm really bullish on the Suns repeating as Western Conference Finals champions this year.
McGee solid, as you mentioned. They're averaging 10-7, the two-time champ. They're now in Phoenix. Let's look at the Sixers because they got a little mess going on here. There's been a report that they might hold on to Ben Simmons past the trade deadline. But if you're looking at this team trying to make a push in the top three teams in the Eastern Conference, is Ben their only concern right now is possibly moving him?
Yeah, Ben is their major concern. And I think they have to move Ben. Even if, you get two or three other teams involved, you're not going to win in this trade. It's just not going to happen. So you got to pretty much try to figure out, you're not going to hit a home run or a triple. You got to figure out how to hit a double. And that's okay. And then this team can play a little bit more like the 1995 Houston Rockets, where it was Hakeem and a bunch of other guys like Kenny Smith, Sam Cassell, not necessarily, Clyde Drexler ended up, playing with him. But even before that, in 94, just a bunch of role players. Mario Elie. I think you got to really look at surrounding Joel Embiid with as many shooters, significant role players around him. Get something for Ben Simmons, and then try to make a push for the Eastern Conference Finals and do it all behind Joel Embiid.
Coach, real quick, if they do or are unable to make a trade at the deadline with Ben Simmons, does it really make sense to wait in the summer? Because now it'll be a whole season without seeing him play. You don't know what shape he might be in. The trade package might not be as valuable compared to what it is right now. Does it make any sense here what Daryl Morey's trying to do?
No, you got to make a trade before the deadline, because then it's going to really start to become diminishing returns. You're not going to have any leverage in the offseason. So I think now is the time. To try to make a trade one-on-one with a team because of his salary cap number is going to be very difficult. And that's why you got to get some other teams involved.
All right, we'll see what happens here the closer we get. Let's look at the Knicks now, starting to hover as maybe one of those middle-of-the-pack teams. What do they kind of need to help Tibbs to kind of refresh their squad there in NY?
Well, they need scoring, and that's why, my recommendation would be to get on the phone and call the Memphis Grizzlies and try to pry away DeAnthony Milton, a guy whose time is a little bit down. He averages close to 10 points a game. This is a very deep Memphis team. John Morant, Dillon Brooks, Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones, Kyle Anderson can play some guard, Zaire Williams. DeAnthony Milton was really cooking a little bit before he went into COVID protocols a couple of weeks ago when they were in Sacramento. Now he's come back to reduce minutes. But this guy's a two-way player. We know the Knicks struggle defensively with Fournier and Kemba Walker. They made the trade for Cam Reddish. But this is a guy in DeAnthony Milton that can come and step in and play right away. And I would, if I'm the Knicks, I would be looking to call Memphis to try to pry away DeAnthony Milton from the Memphis Grizzlies.
All right, what about the Atlanta Hawks? They're 12th in the Eastern Conference. Do they need to make a deal to add another piece to just at least get back into the playoff picture here?
Yeah, they need to make some deal. I would say for them, trying to find another guard to really complement Trae Young. When you look at this team last year, Lloyd Pierce, before he got fired, he was 14-20. Nate McMillan finished the season 27-11. They're going to need that type of a finish this year. They're out of the playoff hunt. This would be one of the most disappointing, I would say most disappointing team in the NBA if they don't make the playoffs and make a big push. So I would say try to find another complimentary guard that can really pair well with Trae Young and maybe help him when he's on the defensive end, since he's more of an undersized guy in the guard position.
Coach, we just saw that slider there with the rankings. Of course, they're nowhere to be found. I mean, if you look at the Hawks, could they be sellers instead of buyers here for the trade deadline?
No, I think they need to be buyers because this will be a significant step back. You saw a couple of weeks ago their general manager came out and talked about, maybe this roster isn't good enough. Maybe I need to upgrade it. So I think they're going to be looking to be very, very active come trade deadline, because this is a team, once they get in the playoffs, if they get in, they can be very, very dangerous, as we saw last year when they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Slow start last season, like you mentioned there, get into the postseason. Portland also a slow start this year. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, that combo looked like it's run its course in Portland. Is there a chance that Dame time is maybe over there in Portland if we're looking for him to maybe go elsewhere?
Brandon, I completely agree with you. This CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, this backcourt has run its course. This team is in neutral. They're not going anywhere. This team needs to start a serious rebuild, and that serious rebuild can only take place if you trade Dame. Dame's trade value is probably the highest that it's going to be. And, if they wait till the offseason or try to do something next year, who knows what's going to happen with his game. He's had surgery with the abdominal surgery. Teams, you'll still have, half of the NBA lining up the trade for him. So this is a team that needs to just totally hit the reboot, start rebuilding, start the renovation process. Even if Dame comes back, at worst, you're probably going to be a 9th or 10th place team in the Western Conference Finals. Who knows if you're going to make it past the play-in? There's no assurances there. This team is in neutral. They need to hit the restart button, trade Dame, get him in a situation where he can make a run for an NBA title. He deserves it. And I know that's going to be, a pretty breath of fresh air for some NBA team not named Portland that's in the Eastern or Western Conference Finals. Maybe the Philadelphia 76ers. Who knows? Pair him with Joel Embiid. They could be the leaders in the clubhouse in the Eastern Conference to potentially come out of the East.
And Dame, when healthy, you could easily argue he's one of the top 5 point guards in the league across the association. As always, Coach, appreciate your time as a pick and roll tapping in. The closer we get to that trade deadline, taking a look at some of those notable games tonight. The Clippers taking their talents to D.C. to face my Wizards. It's been a struggle bus. We're under 500. It's okay, though. Pelly's taking on the Sixers and Joel Embiid. That at 7 o'clock along with the Wiz Kids and Clippers. And then the Lakers heading to Brooklyn. The good thing is it's just James Harden, but we might get an Anthony Davis signing for the Lakers. And then it's Luka and Steph at 10 p.m. Eastern. That one, of course, out in Golden State.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.